Well, hello everyone. Englishman in Dallas here, the realtor who treats you lot like royalty. Honest to God, I do. And if you don't believe me, check out my Google reviews. So, what is SubTo? SubTo is subject to. Subject to what? I hear you cry. Subject to the existing mortgage. So it's buying a house subject to the existing mortgage, which means that the buyer isn't going to go to the bank and qualify in the traditional way, and the bank are not going to be originating a new mortgage, because we're simply going to take over the mortgage that already exists. Let me tell you a bit more about that and how that works. Here we have Morrissey. This is Morrissey's house. Here we have our buyer, Robert Smith. So Morrissey bought his house in 2021. And he wants to sell his house for $300,000 here. Okay, so Morrissey's balance on the mortgage is $260,000. So if we were to do this, if Robert was to go about this in the traditional way, he could say, well, I'll give you $300,000 for it, and then he has to go off to the bank. Then he has to go and get qualified, and if he did that today, he'd be paying 7%. March 2025, right? Something like that. That would be about realistic, and that's assuming that Robert Smith has good credit. I'm sure he does. He's sold enough records, so he probably doesn't even need a mortgage for this in reality. But for the exercise, this is good. There's a 3% interest rate on the existing mortgage here. And the principal and interest, we're not interested in PITI, we're just interested in principal and interest at this point, okay? $1,200. So Robert says to Morrissey, well, look, this is my offer, but my offer, I'll give you your asking price, but my offer is subject to the existing mortgage. And Morrissey says, okay, what does that mean? It means, Robert says to Morrissey, it means, I'm going to take over your payments, Morrissey. It means we're not going to tell the bank. I'm just going to take over. It's what is known, what is otherwise known as a silent assumption or a non-qualified assumption, because you haven't gone about this in the traditional way. You're just taking over. Now, what happens to this? Now, this is going to stay, the mortgage is going to stay in Morrissey's name. The house won't though. The house, the title is going to go to Robert Smith. So Robert is going to be now paying $1,200 a month, and he's going to carry on with this 3% interest. Morrissey bought the house in 2021, which is 4 years ago, which basically means that Robert's note on the house is 26 years old. Compared to if he bought it traditionally, it would be a brand new note of 30 years. So, why would Morrissey agree to this? Well, there's a couple of situations here where this would benefit someone. It could be that Morrissey hasn't been paying his mortgage. So Morrissey is, say, 6 months behind on his mortgage, and Morrissey is about to go into foreclosure. So Robert here, if he reinstates the mortgage by paying up the 6 months arrears and reinstates it, he can then take it over, and at no point is the bank going to be informed of this. Then Morrissey is going to, the fact that Robert is making those, bringing his mortgage up to date, that's going to help with Morrissey's credit, and the fact that over the next few years, as long as Robert owns the house and he doesn't pay off this lien here, then it's actually going to benefit Morrissey's credit moving forwards. So it saved him from the doom and gloom and the misery of foreclosure, and it's going to help him rebuild his credit. So that's one scenario. Another scenario could be, let's say, for example, if we change this figure here, and this was 290. So he's selling the house for 300,000, but he owes 290,000 on the mortgage. Well, that means he's only got 10 grand in equity. Well, he's probably going to pay the best part of 20 grand just to realtors to sell his house. Yeah, 15, 20 grand. Now he's got a shortfall, okay? Then you've got his closing costs on top of that too. So he's going to have to bring money to the table if he sells it in the traditional manner. But if we do it creatively like this, so let's say, for example, he could say, well, I'll tell you what, Robert, I'll let you buy this house, SubTo, but I owe 290. I owe 290 here. You can have it for 300,000, but you've got to pay my closing costs, okay? Because you're going to inherit this 3% interest rate, and you can't get that now. Do you think Robert's going to do it? Yeah, I think he probably would. So yes, I hope that explains to you how the SubTo works and the reasoning why someone would be motivated to do it. Because let's face it, if you're not in a distressed situation of some kind and you've only just put your house on the market and you've got plenty of equity, then you're not really going to be that incentivized to do this. So, it has its time and its place, and it can help people out, but it's certainly not for everyone. Anyway, any questions, give me a call or send me a text, 214-970-2526. I'd love to help you.